It's a beautiful day out here too
Yes, it is. It
for
is.
November.
It's winter in New York City in Hell's Kitchen,
Huh?
where we're going to be next Monday, but we'll talk about that a little later.
We got enough people here right now. Look at
Woohoo!
that. Yeah.
That's what we want to hear all about. So thank you. Really, really, I'm so happy to finally be speaking with you publicly so everybody can hear these amazing conversations that we have
Thanks for the
about,
reminder.
yes, about food and New York City and restaurants, New York City. So, yeah, so welcome, Chef Charlie Marshall from the Marshal in Hell's Kitchen. Really appreciate you being on. And I would love for you to just go get out the gate talking about what I know, which others do not know. So, this is the Plant Powered Metro New York live, Instagram live. And we're getting ready for our event next week on Monday at your restaurant.
Yeah.
And so this is all part of Plant Powered Plates, which is our restaurant initiative where we invite restaurants throughout New York City to have plant-based options, particularly omnivore, which your restaurant is. So we want to talk about that. But why don't you, Charlie, tell a little bit about your beginnings, um, particularly the special place that you grew up and your connection with food from where you grew up. And anything else
For,
you want to say about you would be
for
awesome.
sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I hope my connection's okay here. Um, so I opened the Marshall in 2013, so we've been here about 12 years, and I wanted to do something sustainable and something that really um, exemplified the way that I eat and the way that I cook. We do everything with sustainable cooking, so we do everything in our wood-fired oven. It's carbon neutral. We burn no gas, and we source locally. And that local program also goes to our bar program. So we've only served New York wines for 12 years. They're all rated 90 points or over to make it on the menu. We have a full bar. It's all local. You're not going to find absolute here. You're going to find wonderful, fabulous local vodkas and whiskeys, rums, and a lot of wonderful zero proof options as well. Local non-alcoholic wines and non-alcoholic cocktails as well. Um, and I grew up on my parents' farm and in my parents' restaurant in the San Juan Islands in Washington State. And I moved to New York City after college and worked for many other people for years until I opened the Marshall in 2013, which is my baby. And that's my logo. And we're really excited to be having plant-powered plates here next week for our little plant-based dinner. We have a special dish that we created just for this dinner that's now actually on a regular menu. It's a vegan gnocchi. It's made with local mushrooms and porcini mushrooms, and we do that in our wood-fired oven. It's absolutely fabulous. We'll also be doing a lovely grilled vegetables plate and a lot of other really, really fun options, an oil-free salad. So I really hope that if you're watching this and it sounds delicious, because it's going to be, that you'll join us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to tasting that in gnocchi. I've seen pictures, and that's actually one of my favorite foods in the world. And so to have it, a lot of times when you go out to restaurants, you definitely can't find it to be plant-based. It's not vegan, it's got
Yeah.
dairy. So for you to make that for us, I didn't ask you to, but you did. And I'm super excited about it. So yeah, we're living in a time, especially in New York and many other places where restaurants are just, they're shutting down one by one. And so I wanted to ask you if you could share some things you're doing to keep the Marshall going. Any special promotions or events, and just in terms of even your menu, and how you might be making changes to that seasonally, just to make sure that people are still coming in and still see you as viable to the neighborhood as well. Because our focus for Plant Power Plates is very much about neighborhoods and being local,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's the relationship between the eater and the chef, right? The
Yeah.
eater and the owner. That even in tough times, we will make sure that we come to your place, whichever place that is. So if you could talk about maybe some of the things that you're doing
For sure. Yeah, this has definitely been a challenging environment in New York City for all restaurants recently. Tourism is down drastically, and costs are very, very high and higher every day. And people know that, when they go to the grocery store as well, and that transfers to local businesses as well. Um, we do all kinds of things at the Marshall to try to stay relevant and make sure that we're really providing value to the neighborhood. One of the things that we do is we open on all holidays. So we're open 365 days a year. We do a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner here with wood-fired turkey and all kinds of other different beautiful options. We're open on Christmas. We do a wood-fired Christmas goose and a holiday ham and a pot roast and a lot of really fun vegetarian options as well. And so we're kind of always here. We also decorate the heck out of the place for the holidays, which is really, really fun. We also do a winter wine dinner series, which is 6 courses and 6 wines. We keep it really affordable. The price includes tax and tip. And we do that in July and August, and we also do that in January and February, which are traditionally 4 of the slowest months of the year here in New York City. We also support Rosie's Kids, which is a really great little nonprofit founded by Rosie O'Donnell right around the corner that does theater programs with neighborhood kids and underprivileged kids. We support the local schools, and we do, try to give back as much as possible. But most of all, we're a tiny little hole in the wall. We've been here for 12 years. We're intimate, but also really a little bit chic inside, and so people can come and enjoy a really nice meal and get a really nice atmosphere. Dinner comes to the fireplace because that's where your dinner's coming from. and we really have a lot of locals that have been coming to us since the day we opened, and we really value those relationships because in hard times like these, that's what keeps us around.
Yeah, I'm glad you're around.
Thank you.
I think sometimes, like when I've come to see you, because I've come to see you several times and I'm in the neighborhood quite a bit, that the first place I lived in New York 34 years ago was Hell's Kitchen. And it still feels very much like it did back then, even though the first restaurant I worked at was Jezebel's, which was down there at 45th and Ninth, not there anymore. But there's still that sort of, that I don't know. There's a grit. There's a very like New York feeling there, and so I think that adds to the environment where you
Hmm.
are, and you guys really do fit that. I love what you said, like the decor, it's intimate, and just although um, it's a cozy place, but there's something really special, and you definitely have that. So can't wait to be there and bring other people there because that's the most important part. So
Yes, please.
this is yes, this is not an easy sell all the time. To be honest with you, knocking on doors of omnivore restaurants, talking to them about the importance of plants. Today is actually the first Climate Action Day.
Hmm.
By the way, if anyone didn't know that, today is that day. And so, I always say I vote with my fork, and I'm voting for sustainability, I'm voting for health, voting for, animals as well by making this choice. But when I came to you about it, you said, I've been thinking about this. This is something that I've been wanting to do. Could you share a little bit about what some of those thoughts were that you were having before I knocked on your door and what made you, say, yes, let's do it? Took a while, but
Yeah.
I get it. It's restaurant industry. But you
Yeah.
finally, came through and came through strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that people understand that plant-based eating is something that some people do all the time and something that some people try to do some of the time. But um, dining is constantly changing, and to say dining is changing is always true. And so making sure that we're able to provide customers what they want and what they are trying to eat, then giving them those options is really important, especially as a farm to table restaurant. And we're also a sustainable restaurant, and so we want to invite people to choose not to eat meat if they would like to not eat meat. And the gnocchi, surprisingly enough, is um, on our menu is thoroughly enjoyed by meat eaters and non-meat eaters alike, and a lot of people get it because it's a healthy option. And the fact that it says vegan on it doesn't scare anyone away. It's become one of our best-selling entrees, and so I think that it's important, to always keep an open mind as a chef and as a business owner. I think I shared with you that I was very resistant at first to put non-alcoholic cocktails on our list, and I started with just
Hmm.
one. And then as the trend toward less drinking became more and more obvious, we've added more and more and more. And now our non-alcoholic um, cocktail sales are pretty much the same as our wine sales. So that's something that I absorbed and kept in mind. And I knew that we needed to do a vegan dish, and it was really challenging. And then when you came to me, I said, okay, this is the impetus. Let's put something on the menu and see how it goes. And just like the non-alcoholic cocktails, sorry, I won't get started after this weekend. um, as This is with the non-alcoholic cocktails, is they get more and more popular. We add more and more options. So I think we have a lot of already plant-based options, but under our main courses, we really didn't. And so now I think as this becomes more and more popular, more and more people begin to eat more thoughtfully, that our entree section and course section will start to represent more plant-based options.
Yeah, I love that phrase, to eat thoughtfully, right? It's mindful eating, because when we're eating for all parts of ourselves, right? Our beliefs, our core values, the environment, and other things. And I do remember you sharing that with me because last year I did dry January. And when January was over, I really didn't have a desire for having drinks, but I love to go out. I eat out a lot. I'm a New Yorker, and I love a pretty cocktail. And so I started, going to various places asking them for, these mocktails. And so when I saw how extensive your mocktail list is, and I know, just a little bit I know about you as a chef, you're curating, you're designing something. You're not just putting a juice, a soda, and something else in it. And that makes it really, I just think it enhances the dining experience as well as with the food. So I'm really glad you brought that up. So you're getting ready for next week, for Thanksgiving. We're having a pre-Thanksgiving dinner on Monday night. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And also, we're inviting people to go to the Plant Powered Metro ny.org website and click on events. And when they do, they'll see this event that is scheduled for Monday, and they can register right there. But as you're preparing for Thanksgiving, when you talked about the island that you grew up on, it's very far. It's near Seattle. I don't know when I'll be in Seattle. I've never been there, but it makes me want to go. And seeing that your family still has a farm, and are they still doing the restaurant?
My No, my parents, when I
Okay.
went away to college, my parents sold the restaurant, and
Okay.
some friends of mine now run the restaurant, and they're doing a great job. But it's been open, continuously. Actually, it was in a historic building which was kind of falling down when my parents bought the property, and we spent 7 years as a family restoring it, and then we opened the restaurant when I was 12, and then they had the restaurant until they sold it after I went away to college. But it's been open continuously since, and it was a general store for 100 years before that.
Yeah.
I think it was built in 1919. But
Wow.
anyway, yeah, it's
Yeah.
and it's called the Beach Store Cafe. If you're ever on Lummi Island, you got to go check it out. It's a fabulous little restaurant, open on weekends. But they still have the farm, and my little sister and her partner Roger moved back to the farm permanently during COVID, and so they're uh, younger, and they are now really running the farm. And my parents also still work all the time, even though they're now in their mid 70s. um,
Yeah.
but my sister's really taken over direction of the farm. It's called Full Bloom Farm on Lummi Island, and it's open to visitors by appointment as well. But there's a public farm stand where you can go and buy all your produce and all kinds of other really wonderful artisanal things that they
Yes.
select from other local farms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part I dream about, the farm stand and the farm. And you grew up there and you were working the farm after school. And so growing up around fresh produce and being on a farm and being around the soil, and when we talk about plant foods, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about growing them, how we grow them. You know, there's issues about soil, right? And so I know that you go to the Union Square Farmers Market to buy many of your ingredients. But as you're getting ready for Thanksgiving and you're putting these various dishes and recipes together, can you highlight some plant foods just from their raw ingredients that you would recommend that people use for this upcoming holiday?
Absolutely. Well, this time of year, there are, an abundance of root vegetables and squashes and these sorts of vegetables that keep really well through the winter. And I think that we see those in a traditional Thanksgiving menu. My favorite squash this time of year is delicata squash, the one where you can eat the peel. It's really yummy squash. It wasn't really available until, like, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, when Cornell developed a variety
Mhm.
that was disease resistant. But they're lovely little squashes, and you can just roast them, cut them in half, take out the seeds, roast them, throw some maple syrup or some a little bit of Chinese five spice on them, and they make
Mm.
just a lovely little side dish. I also, with my sweet potatoes, I get maple marshmallows from a wonderful little operation down in Union Square. They're from Vermont, but they're in Union Square Farmers Market, called Deep Mountain Maple, and they make maple marshmallows. So I make like grandma's traditional mashed sweet potatoes or chopped spiced yams, and I top them with those beautiful maple marshmallows, which give it a beautiful flavor, and you're staying away from the white sugar. They're made with 100% maple sugar. Those are two of my favorite vegetables this time of year. I also love a really nice fennel salad. You can still get fennel right
Mm.
now. Um, and a fennel salad goes beautifully with turkey or turkey substitute if that's what you're doing. I make a lot of tofurkey this time of year because we do a lot of catering, and a lot of these offices want a nice vegan option. And so I make a tofurkey where I incorporate garbanzo beans to keep it together. And um, those are some of my favorites.
Yeah. I'm getting really hungry listening to all. And I cook, for my family. Well, usually, I have to take my own meal anyway, because just the elevation of plants, treating them with the care and the love they deserve is something that real plant eaters understand and do, and chefs do. Part of why we're doing this is because we want omnivores and plant eaters to sit together and eat together, and it's not that we have to be separate in different places. When my friends go out, they'll say to me, "Oh, Rebecca, you pick the restaurant," because they know that they've had experiences with me there where I'm picking the menu apart and I'm asking, like, can you take this off? Can you put this on? And it's just not a great experience for everyone, right?
Right.
Because everyone wants everybody at the table to enjoy their meal. And I can put the face on and pretend like, I'm okay eating steamed broccoli while everybody else is there licking their fingers. And it's just not, right? So that's why we're doing this. And I love how you broke that down. Like, it's not just per se vegans or plant eaters. When you look at the statistics, everybody's kind of coming to this place where they want to try a meatless Monday. They want to try a dish that's like, hey, today, people are doing intermittent fasting. They're doing all these various things. And they're saying, okay, today, I'd like to have a day where I'm just eating plant foods today. And there's so many benefits. Obviously, we can talk about health. Number one, you made a oil-free dressing for us. And the reason why is because, cardiovascular disease is the number one killer. And so, oil, any kind of oil, it's still going to your heart, right? We don't have to have a debate about what the best kind of oil is. That's a culinary conversation. But when we're looking at health, to have an oil free dressing is amazing, and you got it right away. And I just can't wait to taste it, because it's totally not necessary. You know, Charlie, one of the interesting things for me is when you go to culinary school, they teach you water saute, but nobody uses it.
Oh yeah, they do. Just not at home.
So usually, if I'm doing a demo and I'm
Yeah.
showing somebody, a water saute, they're like, "What? Huh? You can cook onions without oil?" And it's like, yes. And then
Yes.
sometimes they're like cooking with the oil and then finishing with the oil.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, like how much of this do we need?
Yeah.
And
You would.
so I feel like if you're a chef worth your weight in salt, you know how to flavor food, right? And I know some people use it because they like it to look slick, and they have that film on it, and they're like, oh yeah, it looks more beautiful, because you have the oil. But there's so many things you can do. Could you share with us one little tweak or trick that you use, when you're making a plant-based dish to bring that maybe that umami flavor, or that flavor that, like, people eat it and they're like, I'm not missing anything here.
Well, I think one of the most important things when you're trying to create balance in a meal that doesn't have those animal fats or that animal umami that you get from the artifact with the meats is really trying to bring in a depth. And so I love mushrooms for that. Mushrooms work really, really well. Even just a little pinch of dried porcini mushrooms will add a lot of flavor to a dish. And then the creaminess is really important as well. And so where you can get that umami from onions and garlic, et cetera, et cetera. The creaminess is sometimes hard to duplicate without like animal milks. And one of my best friends is a reduced oat milk, and I'll either make oat milk or you can use store bought oat milk and reduce it. And if you like, you can thicken it with a little bit of something like cornstarch, or you don't have to. It gets pretty nice and thick when you reduce it, and it ends up creating just a beautiful base for creamy sauces, or just to kind of give the backbone to maybe a broth-based sauce. And it also works really well once you reduce it and chill it. It works really, really well in dressings if you want to take out the oil.
Nice. Reduced oat milk.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to try that myself. I haven't done that one.
Don't boil it too hard; it gets funny. Just simmer
Yes.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for that tip. So, yeah, Monday, we're going to be meeting there, and we are going to have our prefix dinner. Let me see if I can put the link in the chat. I may have to do it after we're off. Um, and just to make sure that everybody has it. But I do want to say again that this is the Marshal, spelled with one L. And can you give your address, Charlie?
Sure. We're in Hell's Kitchen, so we're only about 2 blocks from Times Square. We're on 10th Avenue between 44th and 45th Streets, right across the street from the new Target, which as you know, used to be a huge Hess gas station. We'd have people parked, pumping their gas with their high beams coming through our window. So I'm probably one of the few people in the world that's glad to have a big, huge
Target.
conglomerate right across the street. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yes, Monday, you do need to register if you are planning to come, and taste some of this amazing wood fired food. Very cozy because it's right there out in the open. And I just love the staff. Every time I've come there, the staff's been amazing. But we are going to be celebrating Thanksgiving together. No, it's not a Thanksgiving dinner. It's a pre-Thanksgiving dinner, and I'll say, I've been telling people it's an Italian pre-Thanksgiving dinner because I'm so focused on this gnocchi, that we're going to be having. I can't wait to try it. But of course, there is, the whole grain. We're having the quinoa with the vegetables, and the wood fired, um, pizza, as well as the dessert. Can you tell a little bit about the dessert?
I don't remember. Read me what I
It's
wrote
the
you.
apple. It's the apple cobbler,
Oh, the
and you
vegan
were
apple
gonna do
cobbler.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, was it a foam or something? I can't remember
Yeah.
what the.
Well, guess what? Oat milk again, but that's my go-to dairy. But we'll be doing a vegan apple cobbler with a nice plant-based whipped cream on top, and it's going to be, or creme anglaise, excuse me.
Creme anglaise.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what it
and
was.
it's going to be very, very yummy.
Yes, can't wait to taste it. So, Charlie, thank you so much. Welcome to Plant Power Plates. This is our first event we're going to be having there, so I'm super excited, and especially to kick off the Thanksgiving week with whole food, real food, and of course, in an environment where we have a chef that really gets it. Really appreciate you, and super excited to be there on Monday.
Right
So.
back at you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you next week.
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.